All right, so I just wanted to briefly talk about the Cody Ko situation because just not enough people are still talking about this. You can see there's some people within the last month or two that have, touched on this situation. But basically, he has started uploading again. If you go to his Cody Ko channel, which is this is the main channel that he was uploading up until he got canceled. He was uploading these lazy reaction videos that he doesn't edit himself, and he just went back to uploading these. He just randomly came back out of the blue, just started uploading again without mentioning anything. You can see here's the jump here, 8 months to 2 months. So this is where he took his little break, and yeah, he just came back, did a button video, which is like one of the main things that he was known for before he, got canceled, were these button videos, at least on this reaction channel. Then a Mr. Beast video, and then, just the same shit that he was making before, but now, just started uploading again, and just, he's never addressed it. And that's kind of my whole thing about this, is that he's just never addressed the situation publicly. He's never said anything about it, and so we've never gotten to kind of see him take accountability. He's seemingly never properly taken accountability for the situation, and that's kind of my big issue with the whole situation, is that he's just kind of been able to seemingly weasel his way out of getting canceled. He's seemingly been able to just, he didn't say sorry, he didn't do anything, he didn't apologize, never even addressed the situation. He just went completely dead silent and then started uploading the same shit that he was uploading before he got canceled again. And he just never had to take any accountability. He never had to face his actions. He never, that's kind of my thing, is that he's just been able to kind of weasel out of this without having to take any actual accountability, and that's my main issue. This is something that I never saw when it first, was uploaded 2 months ago, which conveniently is when he started uploading on his channel again. When you go back to when he started uploading again, the first video that he uploaded after he got canceled, this checking in on the button video, February 4th, 2025. And then this came out in January of 2025. So you can see, it's only the very next month, the very next month after this podcast comes out, he starts uploading his shitty reaction videos again. And here's the thing, and I want to just make this clear, is I used to be a fan. If you go and you watch my last Cody Ko video, like, I got that email from the TMG Studios email because I was a subscriber of their podcast. So I was a paid subscriber to the TMG podcast for like 2 years. I paid monthly to watch their podcast and the bonus episode for like 2 years. And I watched Cody Ko's videos, and I watched other TMG content over the years. And so I was a genuine fan of Cody and of TMG Studios and the podcast and all that. And so, like, I wasn't a hater. I'm still not a hater, to be honest. Like, it's not like I just I'm gonna just automatically hate on everything that he does or something, but I just think that you shouldn't be able to just like weasel your way out of this without ever having to take any kind of accountability for your actions. Like, he should have had to say something. I didn't actually watch this podcast. I was just scrubbing through it. And part of what made me want to make this video was actually the top comment on here But we're going to get to all that. I haven't finished talking about this yet, but I just wanted to point out the timing of that. Late January, Emma Chamberlain puts out this podcast, and then boom, no, this is the wrong one. Then boom, early February, very next month, he uploads his first video back on his second little reaction channel again. So I think that timing's awfully convenient. But if you go to the top comment on this podcast, that Emma Chamberlain, I don't have much else to say, about this. Like, Emma Chamberlain did this podcast with them. I didn't actually watch any of it, like I said. From what people in the comments are saying, it seems like they didn't, ever talk about Cody's controversies and stuff. And Emma says in the description that she's talking to them about having a child. And so I'm assuming, that they just talk about, like, parenting shit and never ever address any controversies. And that was probably a thing that Cody, like, discussed with Emma going into this. Like, hey, I'm not gonna, I'm not comfortable talking about anything Tana Mojo related or anything related to any of my controversies. I won't go on the show if you bring any of that shit up. I'm sure that was a thing. But anyways, the only thing I really have to say about this is I know Emma Chamberlain has a primarily female audience. I know that, like, most of her audience are female. And this is just a bad look as a person with a female audience, I'd say. And you can see this, like, the person who commented this likely isn't a woman, just kind of based on their take here. But a lot of the women in this comment section that you can see, a lot of the women that are seemingly fans of Emma Chamberlain are having this kind of, like, oh, this was not a good choice. Emma, I can't defend you from this. Oh, Emma girl, you did not mean to post this. I just don't understand why you couldn't pick his brain on the most important thing. So it's like a lot of her female audience, as you can see, are not into this and are majorly questioning this move, because it's like, you have a female audience. Obviously, they're not going to be crazy about you having a person who not only was, pretty much fully confirmed to have committed statutory rape, but then also, has not taken any accountability, hasn't publicly stated anything about it, and has seemingly just weaseled his way out of it, and is now profiting off of his current, uploads. But so that's really all I have to say about as far as Emma Chamberlain uploading this, is like, you have a female audience, and this, you have to think that this isn't going to go over well with your female audience. I understand that, she's been friends with these two for a long time. And I guess that's cool for her and for them, that they're all friends and that they want to support each other. But, like, when you have a female audience and you platform a guy that, has done what he's done and hasn't addressed it, hasn't taken accountability, hasn't condemned the actions, hasn't said, I'm moving forward, I'm trying to improve myself in any kind of way. When you platform a guy like this on a platform that is primarily, female audience, where your audience is primarily female, it's just probably not going to go over very well. And yeah, you can see this video, at this point, it was uploaded in January. It's currently April, and it has 100 and it was uploaded in late January, but still, it has 121,000 views and only 1.3 thousand likes. That's what that is. 1.3K. That's 1,300. That's what that number is. And so 121,000 views and just over 1,000 likes. So what does that tell you? If you could still see dislikes, and I know there's some kind of a tool you can use to see dislikes. I don't know how that works, to be honest. I don't know how to do that, but I'm assuming the dislikes on this are crazy, and just judging by how few likes the podcast has compared to the amount of views that it has, just tells me that her audience did not fuck with this at all. And also all of the women in her comment section that are like, Emma, what the fuck? This is absolute, like, how could you do this? How could you platform her, or how could you platform this guy? I was in college when I watched your vlogs. I started watching you when I was 19. Please don't support someone like Cody, who fucked up really bad and needs to own his mistakes and apologize. Statutory rape, I feel bad for Kelsey. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the thing, and the sentiment is like, it's not just that he did what he did, it's that he hasn't taken any accountability. He hasn't apologized publicly. He hasn't said, hey guys, what I did was really fucked up and I'm trying to better myself and whatever. He hasn't done any of that. He's just tried to avoid the situation and tried to weasel his way out of it. And to me, and this is kind of my closing thing that I'm going to say about this, is like, it really comes off as weaselly and cowardly to me. That's my thing. As a former fan of Cody Ko, looking past the shit that he did several years ago with Tana, not saying that it's not important, but just excluding that, just seeing how he handled this situation and how he's trying to weasel his way out of accountability, is what really is, like, to me as a former fan, is like, wow, it's like it's like he's so cowardly, he's so weaselly, he just wants to do anything to just avoid, addressing it and taking accountability. He wants to just pretend like none of this ever happened. He wants to go back to making his lazy reaction videos that he can't even edit himself. All he has to do, I mean, this is unrelated, but I mean, these videos are so lazy, and I'm a video editor for my job, and it's just so lazy, but that's just a tangent. The point is that, like, it's just so weaselly, and so, like, he's already a piece of shit, honestly, for what he did back in the day. And it's like, if you want to try to make the argument of, like, people forget what forgiveness is, and, like, if he's genuinely trying to better himself, it's like, we don't know that he's genuine, like, he hasn't said that he's trying to better himself. He hasn't taken accountability. He hasn't properly come out and said any of that. And I know you might say, people might make the argument, like, he doesn't need to come out publicly and apologize. He doesn't need to publicly say that he's trying to better himself. He doesn't owe that to people or whatever. And I'd argue, yes, he does, I'd argue that, yes, he absolutely does have an obligation to address it publicly as a public figure. That's kind of the thing. If you are just a regular person that isn't a public figure, then yeah, why would you need to make some kind of a big public statement about it? But this guy is a public figure, and he's gone back to actively uploading videos on his channel. And so he's now gone back to making money, and profiting and stuff without ever actually addressing what he did and stuff. So that's kind of that's part of the issue. Is like, he is a public figure, and he's profiting off of his likeness and all of that. And so I would argue that he does have an obligation to, address the situation. So yeah, anyways, we can't let him weasel his way out of this, but unfortunately I think he is going to, because nobody cares about the situation anymore. But yeah, anyways, thank you everybody for tuning in if you did, and I hope you enjoyed. If so, tune in. I've got a new Bros Yappin' coming out soon. It's I haven't started it at all, but it is planned, and it's going to happen, so stay tuned. But anyways, Cody Ko is a weaselly coward, and thanks for watching.